I was going to do a statue.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to sign it from your grandfather.
You want to do that, Jeff? Okay.
W as well as your grandfather. Sure. Big letters. And you put the date, please.
The date is...
What is the date today?
25, am I right?
No, 5/28.
28, I'm sorry.
Memorial Day.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 5/20 Memorial Day is the perfect time to sign it.
How about John McCain, U.S. Senator?
Yes, yes. Everything you want to put in, you're more than welcome. It's our honor to have you sign this for our POWs.
How's that?
Thank you, Senator. Next time we'll do this.
Senator, close it down.
I've been pushing for you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I'd like you to sign this. This one's going to wind up with Smithsonian.
Oh, it's not
I
right.
got one more that's going to do another line.
Sign that? Sure.
Yeah,
Where'd you let me
I
sign
have
it?
a Mr. King. Put it in your hand.
All right.
And I got those right, so you can just sign right by the flag. We'll be going to the museum. Thank God before the election.
All right. Oh, you're right.
I think we're doing all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now the opportunity to hear our very special guest this time, a friend of all veterans, and one that we hope will be our Commander-in-Chief. Let's welcome Mitt Romney.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, what a welcome. Thank you. Thank you. What an honor it is to be here with you here today, to have you join in celebration of our nation's heroes. Senator McCain, a national treasure, thank you for being here, honoring all of our veterans. We're a nation that has been formed and preserved by heroes. John McCain is one of them. He likes to joke that he had the capacity to fly his aircraft into an enemy missile. The truth is his heroism was climbing into that plane in the first place and going in harm's way, and then as a prisoner of war being offered an opportunity to return home and turning it down, saying instead he would consent only if his colleagues and those that were brought to the prison camp before him went home first. An American hero of courage and conviction and character. Our love of freedom, our love of our nation, and our willingness to sacrifice for the greatness of this land continues to this day. My sons and daughters and families who sacrifice in innumerable ways for this great country. Again, towards the end of my term serving as governor of my state, I was invited by the Department of Defense to go to Iraq and Afghanistan to tour various sites there and to see soldiers that were serving for my state. It was a privilege as we helicoptered from base to base, camp to camp, and I got to say hello to our soldiers. After a while, I said, look, I want to make a request of you. If you'd like me to talk to your spouse when I get home and tell him or her how well you look, just take out a piece of paper and write down their phone number and their name. And if you're not married, give me your parents' names and I'll get back and talk to them. Well, by the time I left Afghanistan and Iraq, I had 63 pieces of paper in my pocket. And I thought, boy, this is going to take a long time. to make 63 calls. I got home the night before Memorial Day. So the next morning as I woke up, I thought, you know, before the kids wake up and we have the day together and in a vacation, why don't I make 3 or 4 calls just to get started on this long list I have? And so I started making the calls, and after about the 2nd or 3rd call, the woman who answered the phone said, "Oh, hello, Governor Romney. I thought that might be you calling." And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, you know, you called a couple of the spouses this morning, and after you'd called us, we emailed our spouses in the theater and told them you'd called, and then they emailed their buddies throughout the National Guard and the Armed Services and said to expect your call, so I expected you'd be calling today." So I made 63 calls on Memorial Day. And I must admit I was a little concerned, a little nervous, because this was at a time when the conflict was not going quite so well. There were some in politics who were saying we'd lost in Iraq and we should just go home. Some who thought we should just throw in the towel. And so I knew that as I called, there'd be some who might be inclined to ask me what we were doing there. When could their loved one come home? Why was he or she serving in such a far-off place, in such danger? In 63 calls, most of which were answered by someone at home that I spoke with, not one person criticized or critiqued or challenged our mission. And I would end the call in every case by saying roughly these words: on behalf of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and on behalf of our great country, I want to express my appreciation to you for the sacrifice that your family is making and that your loved one is making in the service of his or her country. And they would either wait until I was finished or interrupt me and say roughly these words: "No, Governor, it's an honor to be able to sacrifice for the nation which is the hope of the earth. We love this great land." Today we honor those who serve. We dedicate ourselves to strength and to preserving the freedom for which they gave their lives and walked in harm's way. As the greatest generation sees its light slowly fade, our duty is to take up the torch they carried so gallantly, so bravely, with such great sacrifice. It's a torch of freedom, of decency, of hope, democracy. It's not America's torch, but it's America's duty and our honor to hold it high enough the entire world can see it and see its light. I love this great country. I love the people of America. I love those that serve in the greatest generation. I love those great men and women who serve in our armed forces today. God bless this nation, keep it strong, and keep us true to the values and the principles upon which it was founded. God bless America, and God bless you all.